I can't be happier for generative AI and AI to come. And I think this is the best thing L&D could have ever gotten, right? Because it's helping everybody get a rough draft in a very quick way.
Hello, Stacy. I'm very happy that you are here. Please tell us who you are and what you do.
Hi, Nico. Thank you so much for having me today. I'm so excited to talk to you. My name is Stacy Hubiak. I am a long-term veteran of L&D in pharmaceuticals, over 25 plus years in the learning and development space. I started out in Wyeth and Pfizer, moved over into Teva, and now I'm working as the head R&D learning and development leader for Organon.
Cool. And you said 25 years of experience. And what makes you sticking to L&D? What is fascinating you? I guess it should fascinate you something if you do it for 25 years.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Started out as a high school English teacher. So I've always had a passion for learning. I'm kind of a tough learner myself. So I always felt it was important to understand how people learn and what makes them tick and what gets them up in, the day. And I feel like learning is my passion, right? And I feel like if people become continuous lifelong learners, they can get up every day knowing that they don't know everything and they get to explore the day and learn and constantly be, explore and be involved in new things and always stay more motivated. Because I think learning and motivation, knowing your purpose and your why is connected to learning.
What is currently taking the most space in your head as L&D lead in a pharma company?
I just love this company, and it's a really great innovative space to be in around exploring for women's health and the new direction that these colleagues called founders have to take on every day, and trying to understand where we are, where we want to be, all the great wins and accomplishments that are going on. And they have kind of a mantra called bring your fire. I want to just stay in that vein where we get to do really cool things every day to have always the patients and unmet medical needs in front of us at the forefront. It's exciting.
Yeah. Could you just quickly, for the ones who don't know about it, tell us what Organon is and what they do?
Yes, Organon is this great spin-off company from Merck 3 years ago, and they took on 60 plus products and growing that are aimed for women's health. So they have a lot of different pipelines and solutions, medical device solution called Jada. They do a lot in the reproductive space. They do a lot in migraine now. So there's a lot of different innovative solutions and medical products.
Getting back to the L&D topic, now you're also doing not only L&D for a longer time, but also L&D in pharma. Is there something special in pharma when you think of learning and development?
Again, it's just mission critical for every colleague. If you understand the landscape, right, and the environment of a pharmaceutical company, what is their main mission? And their main mission is to help patients' lives be better, to live another better day. And the challenges that you face to get medicine into people's hands is difficult. And I feel like I love that challenge to really want to do fit for purpose learning so that people aren't just getting any old learning, check the box learning just to overload them, but to really get at what they need, just what they need, and really helpful instruction to help them do their jobs faster, more efficiently, and more quality learning to the people that need it.
And from the last couple of years, what was the most successful project you worked with or you started?
I have a lot of really big successes. I'm a really big fan of the learning ecosystem. So really, I guess we're all around performance support. I love learning in the flow of work. So I don't want you looking for anything, right? I want you to be like, I'm a person in a pharmaceutical company. I'm a clinician. I need to follow a procedure. I haven't done that procedure in a year and a half. How can I refresh myself without having to go into my learning management system and get to something that can help me through this procedure in a quick and easy way? So if I build you a cool learning ecosystem, you should be able to get to that in like 2 clicks and be on your way to following that procedure. And I'm having good instruction for you to refresh that will help keep you understanding the procedure and be able to do your job in a quicker and easier way.
How would that look like in practice, building such a performance support tool?
I love kind of the hub or a place, one-stop shop to go. And I kind of long years invented these sites so that if you build a really cool SharePoint site so that it doesn't look anything like a SharePoint site, but a quick and easy interface. I think some web design is built very clunky and not with the end user in mind, but a really visual, easy way to get to something with less clicks. That's what my learning ecosystem looks like. So you enter this space, you know who you are, you can see how it's structured, and both visually, I can get you to where you need to go really quick, and you already know what you're going to get when you click on something. I love cool interfaces, YouTube, Netflix, TikTok. Why do people consume these things so quickly? Well, they have great interfaces. It's really intuitive. So I want to have my learning interfaces super intuitive.
Let's do a little course already in Gen AI. Do you think Gen AI will change this approach with the help of AI? Is it easier to build this kind of interaction?
I am a super pioneer in this space. I can't be happier for generative AI and AI to come. And I think this is the best thing L&D could have ever gotten, right? Because it's helping everybody get a rough draft in a very quick way. It isn't gospel that you have to take everything it spits out at first hand and, just take everything, but it's a great start. It gives you such a head start, and all the content you generate in a lot of these platforms is pretty darn good. And a lot of the examples it gives you, pretty darn good. You can then take it and then work with subject matter experts in a quicker and easier way. I'm a big fan of showing you a straw man. I don't think any learning should start from a blank slate. I think that's too hard for people to really get at what it could be. But if I give you a nice draft and we work through, your ideas will pop up, your examples will pop up. You'll be able to learn while you're building, but also really give me the very secret sauce that I need to make effective learning.
As a bit of a provocative question, if we have generative AI and people can, in the flow of work, ask the question to the AI and the AI can answer it, isn't then L&D somehow not necessary anymore?
Not at all. I feel like we're wearing different hats then. L&D always wears a lot of hats, right? When you think about the whole ADDIE process, it's crazy. There's not one team out there that doesn't help with communications, that doesn't help write FAQs to the learning, that doesn't really work with the subject matter expert. A lot of good things come out in learning. And I think that L&D will be needed now more than ever because there's a whole new set of skills as we move into these different ages of working, these different phases. And L&D can then play different hats around marketing this learning, understanding who should take it. They could spend more time on the audience of who's really the right people to receive the learning. They can then spend a lot more time making sure the forgetting curve isn't solid. They can come out with different types of learning assets that people want to consume, not just taking a 45-minute glorified page turner that was never really helpful to anyone.
Yeah, true. Yeah, and I think in our preparation conversation, we had this metaphor of a baker who now with all the machines that a modern baker has is also can focus more on the quality of the bread, but before needed to go to the fields and also get the grain and stuff. And then it's, of course, just like the basic bread you can get out to consumers.
Exactly. And you really have to fill your store with good, customized bakery items. And that's what learners are demanding now. They just want what they want. They want matcha bread with chocolate chips and vegan. And, we're making all kinds of different things, gluten-free. We're tailoring all kinds of learning as we do baking to a lot of different people that can go and get kind of what they're especially looking for. And so in pharma, we can tailor our training to all those different roles, and it can be actually more fit for purpose. It can be more true role-based training.
I would really like to taste this matcha chocolate chip bread, Stacy, but that's something for a different occasion. Let's dive also a little bit into pharma and generative AI. I know you're also new in the company. This whole Gen AI hype just started 2 years ago maybe, and now I feel it's really in the hype. How is it changing, or how could it change from your opinion, the R&D in pharma space?
Yeah, there's a lot of places to go, and there's a lot of use cases already going on inside R&D walls, and it's exciting. So, from good clinical study reports, really trying to be fit for purpose around the clinical trials, to diversity in clinical trial subjects and bringing people aboard to who wants to be the right person for the right trial to receive the right medicine. It really helps you to be more specific in those areas so that just like it does for good learning, it can really tie people to better data in clinical trials that can help us arrive at different solutions quicker and faster. I think that they're doing a lot of use cases in medical imaging. So there's a lot of taking off from the day-to-day work in those sites and where the clinical trials are going on, to also really, like I said, trying to understand real world evidence and trying to put your whole story together for FDA and really enriching those stories so that we can get the right information at the right time, all sewed together for a very strong medical need.
So it's basically two main directions. One is on the innovation side and really innovating faster, and the other is also to get rid, I would say, of all the back office things, or like the more organizational topics an R&D organization have.
Yes, there's the innovative and, like you said, operational. So it's exploding in both areas. And another area that I'm excited about is all the databases that we have access to. And they're doing a lot with AI and automation. So when you're searching for things, the searches, we're cutting down in search time because we're doing a lot of automation. We're no longer asking people to do these complex searches. We're knowing what people want in a quicker and easier way, and we're able to get it to them faster.
Yeah, I saw a keynote speaker from Merck on an event, and he was also saying that Merck has these AI already for a longer time to come up with new molecule combinations to design new stuff. Now with all the generative AI and the new technologies from the leading vendors in that space, now can talk with natural language to that molecules, which I find so amazing. The imagination, how you can drive innovation faster with that possibility.
Yeah, I think everyone will really benefit from that. And if people are exploring down those paths, that's going to be, a head start, right? AI is just giving you a kickstart in almost every area and new ways to look at things faster. We can't get that in our hands quick enough, if you ask me.
Now the technology is already there, and there's also this study from McKinsey I find always so mind-blowing, saying that 70% of all the tasks in organization can be already automated, but it's not the case. People still do copying, pasting over things from Excel in an ERP system and so on. What do you think are the key challenges that these potential cannot be used immediately? So what needs to happen?
I think it's fear, and I also think it's time and really trying to prove in some of those systems and shortcuts inside the walls of your organization. So companies like yourself who can help realize those use cases and say, here's the steps to doing this, and it's not so scary, and it's not so, here are the whole elements around cybersecurity. People have to balance kind of getting into the right tools or opening up into things and kind of exposing your world in too quick of a way. And so it's balancing that, but also trying to take those good risks where people aren't copying and pasting from ERP systems into Excel.
And how do you experience the status quo, Stacy? Are people excited about generative AI, or do you see more people not knowing about it? Because I mean, we are in the bubble. You are enthusiastic about it. I am enthusiastic about it. But what do you experience in your day-to-day in your company?
Yeah, I would say there's a lot of people that are naysayers and a lot of people that say it's not for me and I'm not going to be involved in it and it doesn't impact me and I don't know how it should impact me. And that there'll be resistors for a long time. And that's unfortunate because they could see the shortcuts. They should be curious. We want to keep them so that they are open-minded to it. And they can see the benefits. And I think the more we can try to have those small circles of people piloting and trying things in a safe space with guardrails and a lot of good demonstration, people will start to change their mind about it. But it won't happen too quick.
And now looking at the skills that, I mean, okay, that's the general awareness and change people need to hack basically to get starting with it. But what do you think are the key skills needed to work with generative AI?
Yeah. I mean, the whole prompt engineering and asking curious questions, we have to demo that for people. And that being able to think differently. And how do people ask these questions and giving them the space in their brain to think creatively, creativity, building innovation, understanding, risk, kind of really trying to understand decision making. I think there's a lot of new capabilities and skills that everyone has to explore that will help build these muscles, in these spaces. So the whole way we understand and consume information is completely different, and how we go about our day jobs are different. So people have to learn different skills. Time management is different. How we do meetings should be different. How we work on projects and project planning should be different. So to me, there are whole new ways of doing things, and getting people to learn those new skills of doing things different. So you're hearing new ways of working, and that takes a lot of core skills around change management and open-mindedness.
And what's your advice how maybe companies in general should tackle upskilling people in Gen AI?
With L&D as your partner too, open up the doors for people to have workshops and start exploring this in a safe space and having that conversation. And I think the more we show it and demo it and practice it and see its value and output, people will start to get onto it. But us not doing that is going to keep us kind of in those silos and keep us in those stagnant ways. And no one is going to pick up innovation because you're too busy working. It's the same reason people don't come to training or don't want to do learning and development, because they're too busy. And that's really an upside down way of thinking. In order for you to grow and do your job differently and bring innovation to the table and stay fresh, you have to constantly be learning. And you should be constantly rejuggling your schedule to fit that time into the gym. Because if not, we know what happens, right? When we compare it to not having any exercise or water or lunch. I look at learning as a key element to the day.
Yeah, I also needed to think of this meme. Maybe you know it, where there's two people, they're pulling a squared wheel, basically, or squared stone, and it's super heavy. Then someone is there with a wheel, like a round wheel, and says, "Hey, I have something cool for you." And they say, "We are too busy pulling that squared rock." So I think that's in line with what you say about teaching people using Gen AI. How would you go ahead and measure the success of such an upskilling initiative?
I really like to do anecdotal stories, so that really trying to say, how have we improved? What has this done? What is the applicability to every training that we do? And really saying, would you recommend this to your friend? But also, how have you used these skills? So giving those stories of what skills you apply and how it made a difference, how it made an impact. So I'm always on ROI. I love metrics. I love to tell that story, but I don't think that metrics is everything. I think it has to be culture. So you have to see a culture change in order to see real change. And if we put some of those elements in place, we will see a big difference.
And in terms of numbers, I know you said anecdotal, but is there any KPIs you would measure, for example, the quality of the training or how people adopt these AI technologies?
I think we have to say, where are we at today? Where will we be tomorrow? And then 30, 60, 90 days, measure that and really measure, what have we learned in this workshop, in this use case? How have we implemented the use case? I think it should be like a sprint. And I think we should make it kind of like a game, like a challenge. Why do people love all this reality TV, Amazing Race, Survivor? Everything has kind of a component of a challenge where people come together and work on something and then we say who is the best, who is the worst, and why. I think it's to kind of explore that kind of mindset of energy around AI.
Let's go back once more to the role of L&D and now with the generative AI. You already touched on this, how Gen AI supports the work of L&D professionals. Maybe you can elaborate a little bit more on what are the key areas where Gen AI will change the work of L&D.
There's so many because one of my favorite new little platforms is around video. There's a lot of cool different video makers and avatars that are doing masterclass type formats of delivering information. And it's surprising like how much if you watch an avatar and they explain things and you have a role play between two characters and they tell a story, how much you would learn versus the flat way of just reading it or not really having it come alive or make an emotional impact that you can understand how you feel when you left a use case in a training course. So I love all the AI shortcuts that we can do. Write a script and it generates a video for you. I'm having the best time with that. And then I can put in kind of a secret sauce, my key objectives, my customization, and create video in a quick and easy format that's actually really palatable. So I'm loving that.
What is the tool called, Stacy? Maybe we can put it in the show notes.
The tool that I'm playing with this week is called InVideo.ai. It's pretty easy to consume. It allows you to have a free version to try it out. And then you can buy more and get onto things pretty quick. And I'm having fun rewriting some scripts to tailor it to me. It's been fun to play with and kind of expose my team and be able to come up with a good starting video. I love to kick off everything with a fun video.
Nice. I know you also told me in our preparation conversation some other tools you like or you're using. Maybe you can tell again. I found it really interesting.
I have tons of tools. I love to use the tools, and almost to my team's detriment, they're like, no more tools. But I think they have different uses. And we kind of, as an L&D person now, we have this broader toolkit. And we have this really cool shortcut toolkit that brings us so much value. I love microlearning. I really am a strong advocate of shorter is better. And we do Instagram Reels all day long, or we do TikTok all day long. I see my daughters, I have 3 daughters, and they're really involved in consuming all this new ways of cooking. And they love to look up all the recipes on TikTok, and they love to get all decorative ideas through TikTok. And they're just really on an adventure to consume all this new way. And I want to mimic that in those ways and formats for people to get to information. So I'm a big fan of this program called 7Taps. Very easy, 7taps.com. It's a easy way to create these Instagram meme stories. You can put embedded questions in it. You could put polling in it. It has avatars. It has a way to track. It goes inside your LMS. It works nicely with other learning tools like Storyline Rise. And it's just so fun to create and then send out through your mobile device, or it can be on your laptop, and I can send you a QR code or a tiny URL. And just like that, you're on to consuming bite-sized chunks, and I can give you kind of the drip learning. So I could create a course for you that came in 6 different 4-minute modules, and that would be how you consume it in shorter bites with more impact.
That's so cool. Yeah, I just looked at the website. So many use cases you could think of, like also soft skill training, job aids.
Yeah. And leaders, you can pop in a video right from your leader in there. I did one around, are you engaged at work? And that was fun. We did a contest, and what was fun about it is we combined our Beyond cartoon video. I'm a big fan of Beyond, and even they're getting better to be able to write quicker and better Beyond videos with cartoons. I love the cartoon characters. I wish we could get all those different AI Disney cartoon characters and make it so that it looks like a Fortnite situation or something, or take video gaming and marry it to learning and games. So that's kind of my passion.
I think we are getting there. So my bachelor thesis back then, is also a couple of years ago, was around gamification and building serious games as well. Yeah. And back then there was not so many things, but it evolved a lot. It's really interesting.
And we need to bring that back, right? We need to show the use cases in L&D. You can learn so much from a game. It's insane how much. If I gave you a really good Kahoot or you play a training arcade game by e-learning brothers or whatnot, it could be really fun and invested. And then people are like, wow, well, you're playing games at work? Yeah, but I'm learning so much and I have understand the applicability and the problem solving and the decision making and all kinds of things that it brings out in a quick, easy, fun way. So
Yeah.
you leave a game and you're like, I learned 10 times more than I could have ever doing.
I'm just thinking of one of my first L&D projects when I was myself working in L&D. We created a game on employee development. I loved the story because the story was a flash hitting your phone, and then your phone was somehow connected to the future and would get messages from a future where the company is in a very bad situation because no one did development talks. And then you had to solve quests to prevent this future of happening by doing good development talks.
Love it. That's so fun. See how, again, something like that really resonates and sticks with you. And just that little flash coming into your phone and different things happening these events can spur the thinking.
Yeah, so true. I would say from the content perspective, Stacy, we already have it. So we talked about Gen AI in R&D and pharma. We talked about the role of L&D, cultural shift in large enterprises with generative AI. And now we still have on our list the 5 quick answers from Stacy. Are you ready to give that answers to the a little bit more interesting questions?
Bring them on, Nico. Bring them on.
What is a sci-fi technology you wish that was already true?
I wish we had the Jetsons car that I could get in and we could just fly around the skies in a really safe and easy way that we didn't have drivers or they were robot drivers, because the driving today with everyone texting is scary and I just want to move cars up into the airspace.
Nice. Okay. It's interesting because most of the people on the question answer something around mobility. Such an important thing, obviously. So beaming is like the Star Trek thing that a lot of people say as well. Then that's an easy question for you, probably. What is your favorite AI tool?
I am going to go with the 7 taps. I feel like that has a really good generative AI. It incorporates the avatars. It really allows you to measure. They're doing all kinds of great things around dashboarding and seeing who's taking it. I love mobile learning. I think we should do more on our phones. So I'm going to pick 7 taps. They'll crack up because I'm like a bad cheerleader for 7 taps, but it's a good tool. Everyone should check it out.
Thanks. Then the third question. If you could own any business in the world from now on, which one would you choose?
Does it have to be an existing business or?
Yes, it has to be an existing one. Yeah, it can be everything from a small cafe to Apple.
Okay. All right. Maybe I would like to go into the game world and do a great job of taking games to the next level. So, maybe the owners of Nintendo, or I'm trying to think, it used to be like Sega or the new gaming companies that are out there. And if I could take over with them, I will creative ideas around games.
Nice. It's a really cool answer. I was also in the beginning, when I heard the question, thinking of larger enterprises, how I could do impact in the world somehow. But then I thought it would be also really cool to just own a very good running restaurant.
That's true. It's certainly a lot of fun benefits from that, right?
Yeah. Almost the last question. Who inspired you recently and why?
That's a good one. It's also, there's a lot of different people I follow that I like to watch and kind of be inspired from them on a daily basis. So I really like Brene Brown. I read some of her stuff. I really like Simon Sinek. I really like a lot of the different TED Talks that are out there. I'm always looking for people that are passionate speakers that we can follow and learn from. But I'll go with those 2 right now as 2 people I watch and have us influence and keep us grounded. And I'm really keen on understanding burnout and mindfulness and wellness and being present. So I try to consume as much in that space as I possibly can.
Thank you. Then are you ready for the last question?
I think so.
Okay. Then if your career would be a song, which one would it be and why?
I was thinking about that. I'm like, it might have been The Long and Windy Road by the Beatles and turn into Don't Stop Believing, or Never Gonna Give Up by Rick Astley. I love that song. So I kind of have like 4 songs that it really kind of marries, so that, I feel like you always have to believe in yourself every day. Your own worst critic is kind of yourself. So if you can battle against yourself and, you know, start a new day and keep going, that's where I think, the Don't Stop Believing comes in, or the Never Gonna Give You Up. So I'm always looking for new songs to keep my fire burning and keep myself motivated. And like I said, try to be my own cheerleader and advocate versus against yourself, to be like, different things can make you feel like you want to give up. But music really pumps you up. And I'm excited to keep listening to good music that keeps me fired up.
Thank you, Stacy. I think that's a super nice last sentence for the podcast. Thank you so much for being here, for sharing your knowledge, and I hope we can be connected for a longer time and exchange more ideas.
Me too, Nico. Thanks so much for having me. It was a really fun time to talk with you today. Thanks for the opportunity.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.